Hi, Starting Out Solitary. It's me again, your Tuesday host Pandora, and this week our topic is pagans and justice. I want to start out by saying that there are a lot of different thoughts and ideas and beliefs and opinions out there about what constitutes justice and fairness in our world, and within the scope of the pagan community, you know, the modern pagan community, as well as throughout history, in different cultures and civilizations, it's no exception. So I can't speak to the pagan doctrine, if you will, on justice and fairness, because basically there isn't one, but I can talk about what my personal thoughts and ideas and beliefs and opinions are about justice. So I'll get started. Now, we don't live in an inherently fair and just world. We live in a very brutal world where there is a lot of injustice and unfairness and cruelty, and good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to good people, and sometimes people do the wrong thing. They lie, cheat, steal and kill, do horrible things to other people, and sometimes they are not always brought to any kind of justice. And there are things that go wrong in the world, such as natural disasters, mass shootings, war, you name it, the list goes on. And things like that would make anyone from any background or spiritual path or belief system shake their head and wonder why. And there's not really any way around that. I think up to a point we do have to accept that sometimes our world is unfair. However, that doesn't mean that we don't strive as much as we possibly can towards fairness and justice and equality and equity and non-partisanship and all those good things that mean that everybody can be safe and that our world can be as just and as fair as it possibly can be. And if anything, the fact that some people do the wrong things and don't value fairness and justice and equality is more of a reason for us to value that and to strive towards that and to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. So throughout history there have been different cultures and civilizations that do value justice. You only have to look at things like the god Anubis, who would weigh the hearts of every person after they died on a set of scales against a feather to see if their heart was light and if they'd done good deeds in their life, or if their heart was heavy, in which case they wouldn't get into the afterlife. And there's goddesses like Mart and other deities in other different cultures and civilizations as well that were deities of fairness and justice and equality. So there have been some cultures like that, and you only have to look at the modern day carryover of that is things like the Statue of Liberty and the statues that you see outside of courthouses of the goddess holding the scales or holding a sword like the Justice card in the tarot. And that's sort of the carryover from that, and that's in our modern society, which our society's, human civilization, when you go back looking at our spiritual past, we originated as pagans. So that's the ancient roots that carries over into the modern day that does value fairness and justice and equality. And obviously not all pagan civilizations throughout history did value justice and fairness. There were civilizations such as the Spartans are a really good example. They valued strength above all else, so they sort of didn't have those they didn't value those social justice principles of everybody matters, everybody has basic human rights that they deserve to have met, and that as a society we should help everybody meet those rights as irrespective of their background, gender, level of ability, things like that. And they would kill any child that had a defect or a weakness because that was holding them back, and their value was on strengthening their tribe. So I'm not saying that this has always been an important principle in paganism. Of course, as I said, there are different values and different beliefs and opinions within paganism, and always has been. One thing that I have noticed in myself and a lot of the other pagans that I associate with is that a lot of us do value social justice principles, and some people don't, and like sometimes social justice gets a bad rap. Like, people will say you're a social justice warrior as though that's a bad thing, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I think that it's a good thing, and it really, why wouldn't we strive to be a society and a culture that has that upholds social justice principles and that wants to do right by everybody and have everybody's rights met and everybody's needs met. I think that that's a really good thing. And I guess some people say that it can be taken too far, such as things like gender identity, for example. People will say, well, if a male can identify as a woman, then why can't somebody identify as like a dolphin or a teapot or something stupid like that, or a young person who's underage identify as somebody who is of age. And I just basically think that that's a really stupid opinion. It's kind of like people who equate homosexuality with pedophilia. The two are absolutely not in the same arena. If you want to say that pedophilia is the same as homosexuality, I think that that's wrong. I think that there is a very big difference between anything, well, just about anything that consenting adults do in the privacy of their own home with other consenting adults who are fully grown and of the age of consent and able to give their consent, and something that is done to a child who has no voice and no ability to give consent, so they're not in a position to give consent. And I think that equating the two is really stupid. I think it's dumb and ignorant, and that's just my opinion. And people will say things like, you know, there's more important things than people's feelings. Well, it's not really about people's feelings necessarily, it's about people's welfare. And people say things like political correctness will gets taken too far as well. And I think a lot of what is called political correctness is actually just respecting other human beings and respecting people. So, you know, I don't think that there's a politically correct way to think or a correct opinion. And obviously, you know, things evolve, people start to introduce new ideas and have different concepts and beliefs, and you know, that's always going to change, and it's always going to be that way, that things do change. It's the only constant, really. But, you know, there's no politically correct way to think. However, there is a correct way to treat people with respect and to try and do the right thing by everybody. So, yeah, I can't really think of too much else to say on the topic of pagans and justice, except to say that when I do my personal workings, I like to state that my wish and my goal is for my working to be of the highest good for all concerned. So I like to say that, you know, may this or something better come my way, something that's better for me and for the highest good of myself and for all people concerned. And I like to think of it as being aligned with the energy of what I call the win-win-win, which just means a win for me, a win for any possible third party involved, and a win for humanity, the planet, the universe, things like that. So that's about all that I've got to say in this video. I hope that this made sense and that you got something out of it. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video that I make next Tuesday here on Starting Out Solitary. So thanks very much for watching. See you next time. Bye!